Hey, greetings there, everyone. Gleekon coming back at you again with another episode of Lore of Warcraft. On our last one, we got excited and we saw that, hey, the game is waiting for us, the heroes, to stop the old gods from just making chaos come from all sides. And it takes people like us just completing those little exclamation marks and collecting a few coins in the process to stop the world from spinning out of control. Um, On this episode, we're continuing our side track where we look at the fourth chapter of More Magic and Mayhem. So stay a while and listen to this chapter. It's called So Shiny. It's the largest chapter in the book, but we'll still probably zoom through it pretty fast. And it's just going to concern itself with the new magic items or just items, period, that are available in the game. It says magic items and detect magic. So for some reason, armors, weapons, and skill items have a different read depending on spell school. Whatever. All right, there's some rules on how to use magic items, size of magic items, where magic items is worn on your body, the extra racial body slots. Now that's something that was talked about last book, but this is like, for instance, the Tauren. They have their nose ring slot, and the goblins and other large-eared people can wear magical earrings. This is not from World of Warcraft, so I don't know why they took. So it does say no jaw slots appear. So, excuse me, I'm sorry. It does say that there are no jaw slots as of yet, but eventually Pandaren and Furbolgs, when they introduce those playable races, they'll talk about those. So these books have been redone in a different order, so that's part of it as well. They also kind of give us a spoiler. There's going to be Naga brought up, but since as of yet we don't have that, they don't have some of the same things. Saving throws against magic item power, so they talk about how to calculate the DC for that. Charges, doses, intelligent items, so I like artifacts, legendary, cursed items, how to repair magic items. This is all just a lot of game rules, magic item descriptions. This is how we're going to set it up. Generic descriptions of different types of armor. And here we have tables for them. Looks like there's medium, minor, so a major. Basically kind of stat levels, but we're not looking at all of these. This is all mostly either rehash of some of the enchantments that we've already looked at or just D&D numbers games. It would be important if you were playing, but not at all for what we're doing. All right, so we'll just skim through in case we see anything worthwhile. These are different types of magic armor and shield special abilities. Bonecaster, I'm not sure, but it lets you have control undead. Beast armor, they so like armor of the bear, the boar, the eagle. I do think that those stats, they're definitely something. Like when I see the whale and the bear, like I'm thinking Diablo. But it's very possible that I would say a large, above 90% possibility that these affixes are on the armor gear that you find in World of Warcraft as well. They also describe inscribed armor, silvered armor, gold armor, and mithril armor. Those are not necessarily stat bonuses that come through. And there's more true silver armor as well. So yeah, again, these are just affixes that get put on some Ghost Walker, which gives you extra defense against the undead. Lordaeron Champions armor gives you magic resistance, damage resistance against magic. Interesting. Outrunner's armor makes you better at tracking. Yeah, okay. Similar treatment we're going to give to, excuse me, to weapons. It's just a basic background info, magic weapon special properties. We have tables of those. Same kind of deal. It's just the affixes that come on, like axiomatic weapon. So this is a law weapon that's better against chaos. Wouldn't even fit in the World of Warcraft world. Let's just see if we get any. Some of them like make sense, like backstabbing, sure, but in World of Warcraft, no. I'm not even seeing that much that gets put into World of Warcraft. Like, sure, might they have a holy sword of whatever? Maybe. But considering that weapons don't have skills in the same way, here we go, same affixes of the whale, of the tiger. That's probably, for instance, of the whale would give you extra stamina and spirit. Yeah, this is definitely makes me think more of Diablo, where you can have gear that has really special powers. Now there are some specific magic weapons. We'll see if we recognize anything. Ardent Custodian. I don't know if I've seen that. Black Malice is a thorium Shadowbolt Heavy Mace. Okay, that's cool. That makes me think that that's it right there. There's Blight. I feel like that seems familiar. What are they? It's a +3 corrupting halberd. The Blade of Hannah. That sounds familiar. The famous weaponsmith Hannah. I want to say Hannah maybe was the half elf that they described in the last manual. But it's a +5 longsword. Whoa, that adds +4 to all your ability scores. That would actually be super OP. Brain Hacker. Massive Axe. Finkel's Skinner. The Gnomish Adventure Finkel Einhorn, which sounds familiar. It's a +1 animal bane dagger that also makes you better at crafting. Iron Foe, that sounds familiar. Counter Iron Foe, and maybe some of these. We've done so much stuff. Now I don't know if they're sounding familiar because they existed in World of Warcraft or that they existed in the last Magic and Mayhem book. Now I don't know. Kang the Decapitator, the Orc Weaponsmith Lorgon. I feel like that's in the game. It's a +3 keen Great Axe of Wounding, an oscillating power hammer. Talkirthon Songblade, +3 scimitar that sings a song that gives morale bonuses to Darnassians, night elf weapon. Okay, then they get on to potions and oils. Oh man, and that's it. They just spend a little bit of time. Here's a list of it, but they basically give you the same effects as spells. Rings, there's some magic ring descriptions. We'll look forward. Drake Claw Ring. It gives you the benefit of the dodge feat. And +2. I see. Or you can have just extra dodge armor class against individual opponents. Yeah, so not a lot of new rings added on. Rods. So like just elemental rod of branding, stuff like that. They give a whole thing. And most of them are going to just be giving you extra magic. I believe meta magic rods, they allow you to extend your spells, empower your spells. A miner's rod does what it said, makes you better at mining. And then there are scrolls, which just reproduce the effects of spells. Staffs, a hydrocane. I don't think I've seen that, but that's cool. Gives you a lot of ice magic and water magic. Oh, so that's it. They just added a few. Legend of the Grinning Dog. Wands. Wands just cast spells, so they got some wand special abilities. It makes it sound like you can basically meta magic onto the wand. And then wondrous items. One of the coolest sets of Dungeons & Dragons categories, wondrous items. In my mind, I always go to Dritz's Onyx figurine, Dritz de Werden's Gwynwavar, when I think of an example of a good wondrous item. They can just be anything. Some of them in Warcraft 3, Amulet of Health. We have an Arcane Elixir. Let's just see. Beer Goggles. I feel like that's probably something that's in World of Warcraft. We got Belt of giant strength. Black whiskey? Probably. What's that say in the sidebar? Pandaren brews. So it says this book contains 5 Pandaren brews, but let's just kind of, it says the brews carry the hallowed names of the original brewmasters who created them. Cho Ling Sing, Hong Nu, and the brewmaster known only as Shang are the 3 most revered, and they had a frequent and friendly rivalry. Cho and Hong put their names on their brews, while Shang preferred hers to go anonymous. If she named none of them, she could claim all that did not bear the other two's names. They had their proteges continuing to make them. So that's interesting that we have some of the names of the original master brew masters. We'll have to see if that holds. And I wonder if we'll include more later on when that race is introduced. Excuse me. See if I'm just looking for anything that I would see. Cloak of the Bat. I feel like that's in Dungeons and Dragons. Crown of the Dreadlord. It's interesting. An evil crown. Lets them cast Finger of Death, and if you're not evil, it hurts you to wear it. +6 enhancement bonus to stamina. And extra spell slots of necromancy. That's cool. Drums of Panic. Now that, I think, is in the game. Yeah, you fear everyone around you. Gauntlets of Overpower. That's Gift of Arthas. It is a potion that gives you resistance against necromancy. Okay. Not what I would pick, but Hellscream's Tome of Terror. He doesn't strike me as a reader. When you read the book, it gives you basically rage. People around you can go into rage. Hong's Fighting Lager, that's one of the beers. One of the brews, I guess, rather. And Hong's Bravery Brew. It's another one. Khadgar's Pipe of Insight. I think that was in the other book. Lavender Gate. Lets you, it basically lets you use pass plant or whatever that Dungeons and Dragons spell is. Mask of the Child. Oh, if you put it on, the attacker must make a willful. Okay, so basically you put it on, and then people that try to attack anyone wearing it they have to save or run away in fear. Nevil's Amazing Multi-Use Grenade. Probably a goblin. Medivh's Hammer. It's a dainty hammer. Interesting. What does it let him do? Oh, you tink it on a little item, tink, 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 and then it dispels the item and makes it useless if it's magical. Nevil's Portable Custard Machine. You eat the custard that it makes, and it gives you extra bonuses to agility checks and morale. That's funny. Noggin Fogger Elixir. That's definitely in the game. Nickel's Fabulous Silken Cloth. I don't know about that. Portal Holes from D&D. So it's Robe of the Archmagi. Spiked Fell Collar. I feel like that might be from the game. I don't know. Or maybe it's from the other book. Wounded Warrior Whiskey. That's from that girl. All right, and then we have set items, which is cool because as they were making this, they were already kicking around the items of having tier sets. I just looked at a lot of the different things, and the concept of set bonuses was definitely around for a while. So that's cool. So there's the Battle Gear of Valor. Now, I don't know if these are original set bonuses or sets. Magister's Regalia. It's more of a mage one. The Shadow Craft Armor. That is 100% a set. I think it's whatchamacallit, a heirloom set. So some of these might be they might all be heirloom sets. Then we have minor artifact. Thunder Fury, the Blessed Blade of the Windseeker. Yes, that's in the game. Sulfuras, the Hand of Ragnaros. I don't know. Those are the two that they give us, but I think that's cool. It says, let's read the description of Thunder Fury. Ragnaros the Fire Lord and his lieutenants Gar and Baron Geddon defeated Thunderon, Prince of Air, during the war following the first age of creation. Ragnaros was unable to fully destroy Thunderon's essence, so he forced what little remained into a talisman of elemental binding and shattered it. He gave the two halves to his lieutenants. Ages passed, and somehow the talisman halves found their way into the hands of High Lord Demetrian, a follower of Thunderon. He recombined the talisman, but was unable to release his master. Instead, he did the best he could. He crafted a blade to serve as a vessel for his master's essence. Thunder Fury is a vicious sword, crafted from elementium and containing a crackling electrical core that might be all that remains of Prince Thunderon. The hilt is unusually long, wrapped in black dragon hide and studded with small spikes of black dragon bone. It's a +10 magic weapon against earth subtypes. Otherwise, it's a +6 keen bastard sword of heavy elementium. It does an extra +3d6 electricity damage and 3d6 sonic damage. That's pretty OP. And on a crit, it doubles both of those things. In addition, it casts slow when it crits. It deals an extra 48 points if they're earth subtype. It also gains +10 bonus to agility, and 5 times a day you can cast chain lightning. Wow. It also cuts through 5 points of electricity resistance. Interesting. If they're immune to electricity, they're still immune. Wow. Overwhelming evocation and transmutation. So it's detected as being quite OP. And let's look at Sulfuras too. Sulfuras is the mighty weapon of Ragnaros the Fire Lord. The weapon never leaves his grasp. It is composed of flaming red elementium and etched from end to end with intricate runes that seem to move like flowing lava across the weapon's surface. Sulfuras is covered with many vicious spikes of varying sizes, each white hot and surrounded by the distortion of shimmering heat. It's a +10 warhammer, does an extra bludgeoning and fire damage, and on crits even it doubles that. Anybody that's nearby takes fire damage just from its radiating heat. Cool. And then there's a Sulfuron hammer. Fanatical followers can... So each one requires an Eye of Sulfuras to create these mini versions. All right, special materials. There are extra ones other than we've already read about. So now there's also bloodstone ore, bright wood, dark iron, that's for sure. Elementium, yes. Bright wood and bloodstone, I don't know. Light forged iron, that's cool. From Light Forge, like, I've not seen that in the game, but that is cool. True silver. And then some rules on how to create your own magic items as we continue along. And the gold piece value and cost and all that stuff that entails. This is just the Dungeons and Dragons, how to make your own stuff in game. All right, so that gets us through that. A lot of rules, but some neat little artifacts added in there. But we are done with this. We have one chapter left in that book. Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of Lore of Warcraft, and I will see you next time. This one in the pipe, 5 by 5.